Welcome, my stamp collecting friends. Today I have something really special to share with you for a number of reasons. As a collector, I've always had the desire to make things personalized and send them to the mail so that they have a cancellation on them. And it's an instant one-of-a-kind collectible, or however many you decide to have hand canceled. I guess it's more up to the postmaster at your post office as to how many they will do. But over the years, I've made quite a few, but I want to show you one today that is a particular favorite of mine and tell you how I went about. Well, let me just show you. Okay. All right. This is Dr. Stanton Friedman, who passed about a year and a half ago, and it's on a cover with two United States forever stamps, airmail depicting the old airplane. It's really a good combination to have with Dr. Friedman, and then a little write-up by me down here, and his signature, a sentiment and his signature autograph here. So let's talk about this and how you can do this. First, let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Friedman, because he was a very, very special man. Dr. Friedman he died actually in May 2019, a nuclear physicist. But he was a nuclear physicist who, like several others, have become instantly recognizable to the UFO community out there, because he, like Dr. J. Allen Hynek, took the subject seriously and was dedicated. Most of his life's work was to the study of the phenomenon we call UFOs, or UAPs now. But I first became aware of Dr. Friedman back in about 1975, when I was going to college at Delta College here in Saginaw, and he was coming to lecture there on the topic of UFOs, which interests me incredibly. So my brother-in-law Ray Duve and I got tickets, and we went to hear him. And it was a brilliant speech by you think you're going to hear a nuclear physicist, and this guy's going to be a little bit tedious, maybe like me. But no, he was riveting, and he took questions from the audience. He was very personable, and he looked like he really enjoyed being there and discussing this with those that were interested, which at the time was not as a significant amount as it is today. But as I said, he was a nuclear physicist. But he began his UFO investigations in about 1970. He left full-time employment as a physicist to pursue the scientific investigation of unidentified flying objects. And since then, he gave lectures at more than 600 colleges and to more than 100 professional groups in 50 states, 10 provinces, 19 countries outside the United States. And additionally, he worked as a consultant on the topic. He published more than 80 UFO-related papers and appeared on many radio and television programs. And he also provided written testimony to congressional hearings and appeared twice at the United Nations, all concerning unidentified flying objects. Now, I want to get back to this piece in just a minute and tell you how I went about assembling this. But Dr. Friedman tell you a little bit about his position on UFOs. Dr. Friedman was the first civilian to document the site of the Roswell UFO incident, which is now iconic culturally. I'm sure just about everybody knows about Roswell, and supported the hypothesis that it was a genuine crash of an extraterrestrial spacecraft. And in 1968, Dr. Friedman told the committee of the United States House of Representatives that the evidence suggests that Earth is being visited by intelligently controlled extraterrestrial vehicles. And Friedman also stated he believed that UFO sightings were consistent with, magnetohydronomic propulsion. I think it means magnetic, folks. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's so much more I could say about Dr. Friedman. He was an incredible person. Now, I have made a lot of covers like this with photographs and autographs. So what I did with Dr. Friedman and most of the others is I found, I did an internet search to find an email address that it looked like they would actually, receive the email at. And so I emailed him and asked him if I could send him a stamped envelope with return address to me with his picture on it, and would he be willing to autograph it and return it to me and I put enclosed postage for him to return it. So he agreed, and when it arrived at his home in Canada, I forget, I think it's New Brunswick, but when it arrived at his home, he called me to let me know that it was there and asked me exactly how I wanted it done. And I so regret not having taken the time to talk with him more, but he's a man whose time was very appreciated, and his opinions very respected in the UFO community. So, anyways, after he put the sentiment on it and autographed it, he returned it to me, and when I took it out, my intent was, and it would be so interesting to hear his take on what we're seeing being released now, of the UAPs being video recorded by Navy pilots and Air Force pilots, and I think that they would go to validate perhaps his concept of it being some type of magnetic propulsion. In 1996, after researching and fact-checking the Majestic 12 documents, Friedman said that there was no substantive grounds for dismissing their authenticity. And again, that dealt with Roswell. And then Friedman also hypothesized that UFOs may originate from relatively nearby sun-like stars. A piece of evidence that he often cited with respect to this hypothesis is the 1964 star map drawn by alleged alien abductee Betty Hill during a hypnosis session, which she said she was shown to her during an abduction experience along with her husband Barney. Astronomer Marjorie Fish constructed a three-dimensional map of the nearby sun-like stars and claimed a good match from the perspective of Zeta Reticula, about 39 light years distant, to fit the Hill-Fish star map. Maps was a hotly debated topic in the December 1964 edition of Astronomy, with Friedman and others defending the statistical validity of the match. And if you don't know about that star map, definitely Google it. It's interesting if you're interested in UFOs. But the main subject of this was the cover. Now, you can do this same thing with just about anything, just about anyone. I have many covers in my collection that I've sought out famous people to autograph. And one in particular that I like besides Dr. Friedman. Dr. Friedman's my favorite. But I did one, Dark Shadows. Analytics on my channel show that most of you out there are in my age group. So when I say Dark Shadows, pictures of Barnabas Collins the vampire and his tormentor Angelique the witch should pop in your mind. But the witch was played by Lara Parker, and she's still alive. And so I couldn't find a personal contact for her. So I actually went on eBay, and there are a lot of autographs because she's still signing at her advanced age. And I was able to buy for about $9 plus shipping a simple index card, unruled, that she had signed at some event. And so I did a whole display around that, and I'm going to bring that to you in a future episode. Hopefully, when we take a look at the horror genre in movies and TV on stamps. I do hope that you've enjoyed this. It's a little bit different. It's something that you can do too and have fun with. I certainly have enjoyed it. Some of them, I didn't do it with this one unfortunately, but some of them, instead of having the post office hand stamp them and possibly mess them up, which has happened to me, I have a little stamp made that says, oh shoot, how did I put it? Anyways, it's a Small Lake Postal Authority. And so I canceled the stamp myself with my own little postal authority, which is fictional, but exists in a series of stories that are 50-some stories called the Time Hoppers that I used in Sunday school. And they lived at Small Lake, Michigan. So That's where I decided to have my postal authority set up, a fictional town and in a fictional post office. Have fun with it. Let your imagination go. Let me know what you've done or what you decide you want to do and how that goes for you. All right, I'll talk to you all real soon with another adventure in stamps that we can share together. This next one is going to be more classical, dealing with some very old United States stamps. God bless you. Love each and every one of you. Hope you have an amazing and awesome day. See you soon.